overall, guys, we're happy enough. I think with the way this content is going down in the early days of the in the community. Like I should say, we have a number of servers represented. We have server 15, 32, 28. Server 131 and a couple of people from server 26. I don't think I've missed anyone there. And safe to say, happy enough around all those servers there with this content.
Yeah, right now we're all still looking at the positives.
Well, and it's our third month, right? I mean, we've done this twice. We know what to expect. We don't have tons of questions.
Okay, and I want to get some of the ugly stuff. It's not always smooth sailing, TC. You know, sometimes we do see a bit of discontent out there and whatever, and myself and Jansen, we're always having a bit of a moan about the negative, so I want to get the negative stuff out of the way before we can really get into the content itself and the different aspects of it. And it's brought its fair share of bugs. I personally have seen the spinning nodes again. I've seen the... You have to come out of the system to go back in for a mine to refresh and things like that. I haven't seen it all the time, but it's happened to me. Other people complaining about lag for a while. Anybody any thoughts on what they've seen when it comes to the bugs? It's always the way when there's new content.
Oh yeah, my Mayflower that was skinned as a Bortus, that was interesting.
Yep.
You know,
that might starting the app
PvP a bit.
with ships. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sometimes the ship's not changing when you try to swap it. Let's see if we can do this.
Yeah, not at all. And then crew, when you go in to reload your crew, shuffle things around, the whole screen just freezes.
When retrieving status on all your missions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the missions were
swapping
what's
ships.
It called? Unvaulted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ships not recalled. They're recalled and they're getting stuck. Like,
caving
on
crew
base.
crash a dozen times now. It's really annoying.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Basically,
and
I
just
will
got
take
stuck in
that.
battle.
All day long.
The old bugs I would prefer.
Yeah.
I was doing a raid last night, and literally every single hit it got stuck in battle every single time. Not like once or just random.
At least
every
this
single
stuck in
hit.
battle is fixable.
True.
See,
Yeah.
it usually is, but my issue was I had to move a ship out of the dock, and then when I recalled it, it wouldn't recall. So I would do it again. And
Yeah.
see this ship
So
is
you had to
deployed.
move another ship.
Yeah.
I know. It was stupid. I was
Any
raiding this
command
morning.
for a
And
ship was working for me.
Okay, and as we're talking here, guys, I'm swapping about a few ships on the screen, and it's all working perfectly fine at the moment.
Of course it is.
But there's a fair share of bugs. It needs to be said like that. I understand that with the whole situation around the world, like I was talking to one of the guys that plays this game. I was in an alliance with him on server 157. He's in Italy. He's in the middle of all of this crap, you know, that we're all living with, all this joking about this COVID-19 and it's a gamer's dream and all this kind of stuff. There is a serious reality out there for a lot of people. Myself and Jansen were talking earlier about a lot of people now are working from home. We're working from homes ourselves, you know. And how it's kind of, you're working around your own schedule, and there can be a benefit for some industries, and then others are going to be badly affected because they need to be there in person and whatever. And this idea that if this was a one-off because of the situation that we're all stuck in, we could probably forgive it, and we probably can forgive that there's going to be mistakes. I don't see anybody jumping down Scopely's throat at the moment because we're in this kind of era of let's help each other. So that's all good, yeah. But the communication can still be done online.
It can still be improved
while you're mobile. This is the industry we're in, on the go. You know, most of the people who play this game are professionals who use technology in their everyday work. They do their conference calls online. They network with people online rather than necessarily having to be there in person with them. And this is what many of these people do. And we have an issue around the information flow. We've always said about the communication and the information flow, and this idea that we don't know what's coming next week. Really, heck, you've tried to do a calendar on what we have seen so far, but.
No, that's just domination, because every single time we've had a faction hunt since this Borg Arc started, it was followed immediately by domination, so
Right.
Don't be surprised if we're getting it tomorrow as of the time we're recording this video.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But it
We
would.
should. I'm fully expecting.
Go ahead, Death.
I'm fully expecting to see a domination tomorrow. As he said, it followed every other one through all the other arc.
Yeah. Yeah. We spoke earlier just about how we'd like to see some sort of prior notice as to what we can expect. We've called for a long time for a calendar to be brought into the game, and there was an interesting one you had earlier, Jansen. I think you'd done a wee video on it around renaming your ships, something that we've seen, I think, in a survey way back. We done a video on it. I think Thaler was there, where we looked at this survey, and one of the things was, would you like to rename your ships? And now we're seeing what we're seeing some advertising of that.
So I was on my Instagram and I came across a Star Trek Fleet Command ad that says rename your ship, and you have several options to choose from. And I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm like, I didn't know we could do that yet. And that's when I proceeded to take a screenshot of that and post it in the Scopely Discord to ask a mod. And the response I got from that, let me just pull that up here really quickly, is I just simply said, what's this? And I posted a screenshot. And Hell 9000, the current moderator in the chat, says, but even if it is something coming, no idea when that would be, as this is the first we are seeing it, not my job. And so that led me to do a short little video on it, as, you know, if Scopely is going to put out ads like that on features in the game, they need to actually be features in the game, not upcoming features.
Well, if you look at any of the advertising for Fleet Command, none of it has anything to do with the actual game in any way. It's all just entirely features.
I mean, I saw advertisement where there's a level 5 with an Enterprise, so...
Yeah, the Enterprise also has 18,000 power.
So is it the case that we just go, right, these advertisements that are there to suck people in and download the game, essentially, that's what they are, like, these are the hook, that's just the reality, it is what it is, and we accept that it's never going to be reflective? Or do we have sympathy? Do we have sympathy for the poor bastard that's gone and downloaded the game and got sucked in because they thought they could name their ship?
Well, I think it comes down to, right, if you're joining...
Right, so,
go ahead,
Go ahead.
TC.
If you're joining a game because of something that you've seen from a screenshot, and nowhere on that screenshot does it say future abilities, it's going to lead to a higher level of frustration with the game, because you're going in already with the bar set high, and Scopely is well under that bar still in many other ways, plus that one thing that you're looking at. You're going to have a much higher dissatisfaction rate among the population.
Is it a first impressions kind of case?
I think so.
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
Okay.
it definitely is, because you want to come in knowing you're going to start with this small Orion Corvette, or do you want to come in thinking you're going to get an Enterprise?
Mm-hmm.
If I saw the Enterprise, I would expect it as my first ship.
And to be fair, guys, I
If that's the way
wouldn't
it's being
have
advertised.
I wouldn't have looked at it so much like that. I wouldn't have thought there would be such a strong feeling about that aspect. I'm a little bit surprised at that. Any of the other guys there that haven't had a wee mention any feelings on that?
Well, I mean, personally for me, and it might be a regional thing, Amorgin, our perspectives, but in the States, whenever something is advertised, that's what we expect.
Right.
Like, if you're going to add a feature, then that's literally setting the bar that high. And you need to do, that's your bare minimum. That's not anywhere else other than the bare minimum. You are telling that prospective gamer, you can do this in the game. And so they're going into the game, and it might be something that is the only thing they want to do in the game. They want to have a ship called the USS Amorgin.
Yeah.
That's all they want.
Yeah. See,
and
I
if you can't
forget
deliver
sometimes I
that-
play with a crowd of Yanks, like, you know, I think only myself and Flando are on this side of the pond, I think. Is that right? So, yeah, I don't know.
But
Flando...
I think that's just the bare minimums we expect when we see it advertised. Now,
Yeah.
if Scopely would have said something as simple as coming soon, that would have told that person watching that video, it's not available yet, but it's coming soon, so I can expect it in the future.
You mean like
But that's
2
not what
years?
was said.
We've all
Our
learned what
mottos.
soon means to Scopely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Flando, do you think it's a cultural thing?
Nah, I wouldn't say so. I mean, the thing is, you all know I'm not a techie, right? So when I seen adverts for the game, it wasn't so I could, go fly the Enterprise. I was just looking for a new game to play. But what I wouldn't expect is for the numbers advertised in the ads or anything like that to be so far out. Like, I know they're gonna have to, make it a little bit different in a sense, and not kind of show 100 million tritanium on an ad to repair a ship or something. But I mean, the one I've just sent there, the 1500 steel and the 805 chip for an auger weapon slot when you're loading the game up. Be a little bit realistic with it, Don't lead potential customers on so far. But yeah.
And
think
and
the best-
you're a customer service man, like we've mentioned before. That's what you deal with in your everyday work. Nick, are you finding that work is a difficult thing in the current environment, or is it business as usual for you because you can do everything with technology?
Well, we should be shut where I work. But for some reason, the company I work for, which is in over 8 countries and a multi-billion-pound company, we don't have a work-from-home option.
Right.
So yeah, that's there's a whole lot of kind of shit going on with that right now in my
Right.
workplace. But yeah,
Okay, but that will have to change. Something will have to give here in these kind of situations.
But speaking to customer service, I just want to give a shout out to Scopely customer service. I've sent in a couple of tickets, and they've responded within 4 hours. So I haven't seen any delay with that at all.
Okay.
yeah, actually seen that. Same here. There's a ticket I sent. I think it was 3-4 days ago. And I checked it the next day because I wasn't expecting a reply anytime soon. And they got back. I think, just as you said, Jansen, I think it was maybe 3 hours. About 3 hours roughly. After I sent the ticket, I got a reply, and that was quite a shock because I was literally expecting at least a day, at least.
Well, I haven't seen too much of a quick response myself now, but that could be because it's me. I don't know. But
Look at the Irish.
maybe the problem does come down to sometimes that rather than having to be in an office somewhere, maybe they should be allowed to work from home more often, and maybe they'll relax a wee bit and they might be a little bit more efficient and productive.
I'd bet their customer service is all home-based, working remote.
You reckon?
Oh yeah, it's super easy to do. I mean, you log into Zendesk, you have everything right there.
Yeah.
It's just on your computer. All you need is a browser.
Yeah.
Doesn't need a powerful machine or anything.
And they're just contractors too. At least
Yeah.
the first line, they're not employees. So I would
They're
agree.
probably just hiring people for very little money wherever they can get them, anywhere in the world, which makes.
Yeah, and we're promising a customer service dedicated video at some stage, Flando, so we might get into that in more detail at some stage, but maybe even come up with a few ideas for Scopely to earnestly tell them that here's a bit of advice from the community. But anyway, we'll move on a wee bit, guys, into the more positive stuff and into the real actual content, and we'll kick it off just to talk about the Vidar. How are people finding that?
Love it.
Love it.
It's so much better
great
than
addition.
the Devore and the Franklin.
Oh my god, yes.
Oh my gosh, so much better.
The Franklin is
You
You can actually use it on other things. That is like the best takeaway Scopely to have with this ship is more. We want more and maybe a little bit better. But I mean, the Vidar is such a great ship.
Okay.
Well, and
I
it's
got
something
guys.
that. Go ahead,
Sorry,
Jeff.
TC, go ahead. No, you go.
No, go ahead.
Ladies first. No, ladies first.
I like
Well,
it that
thank
it's
you.
simple. It's simple to and I say simple to upgrade compared to the Franklin. You know, I'm stuck at 270,000 modulators for one gun on my Frankie. Takes me 10 days. Whereas my Vidar is already ready to go up to tier 4 because
Well,
it's simple to upgrade.
The numbers get a lot bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
comparatively,
wait,
I understand.
just wait for it. It's gonna get worse.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you're
The
still
numbers
a
are a little
baby.
bit more balanced, though. You don't have
Yeah.
like millions and millions to upgrade.
On
They're
the one side of
reasonable.
on the defense of the Franklin, though, it does not take a single uncommon to upgrade. And all those swarm events, you get plenty of uncommons back, so it's worth upgrading.
The Vidar is pretty inexpensive, though. Like, overall, it's like equivalent to getting a tier 5 D3, I think, to get it maxed.
Yeah. It's a bit cheaper than a 26 faction ship, but as a free-to-play, I'm not upgrading mine because my Saladin, 1,800 uncommon crystal isn't going to pile up overnight.
Oh, yeah, I feel you.
So there is some downside to it. It's not a major downside. I will gladly upgrade it once my Saladin is where I want it to be.
No, sorry, Hag, I'm just looking at my Vidar while you're talking, right? And just for anybody that's watching, there's going to be people screaming about the crew that I've got on because it's not in its not in its slot. You know, I have my Centurion out with the Pike crew and all of that. So I have it in a different slot. This is not the crew that I'm using or recommend using. But can we move it on to a wee bit just about the crews? Do you want to mention anything about Vidar crews before we go on to the missions?
Actually, Morgan, I just have one quick question for Heck. Is the Vidar utilizing Romulan technology research?
No.
No, it is not using any Romulan research.
Independent.
All right, sorry, Morgan.
No, you're grand. Crews, guys. Flando, do you want to start there? We done a wee bit of testing, but I think Spork. I think you had something on the crews as well. You were saying when we started recording there.
Yeah, I know people were doing some research. I was just wondering what the results were. The crew that was suggested to me, I accidentally tried today, and it was really, really good. So I just wanted to know if anybody had found any secrets. One of Tennis Captain with Talon and Moreau.
Boom. Sorted. That's the one.
Talon and Moreau.
Yeah. So now bear in mind this is on the level 29 Borg probes that are still broken, thankfully. But yeah, I mean a lot of my guys after that stream we done with the testing, I've got a lot of guys in my alliance still using the kind of crew that we spoke about. Obviously, if you've got Pike, that's your go-to, every time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the guys who still don't have Pike, they're still using 1 of 10 with Talon and Moreau, unless they're hitting other Borg probes that are not level 29. Then they're sometimes changing Moreau with Chen. Some guys have seen a little bit of difference, nothing too major. I think what's playing a part is the crit chance on the Borg probe. So just from pot luck, you might get 1 or 2 less kills in a run if you happen to get crit a few more times than usual. But yeah, for the most part, they're still sticking with the kind of crew setup we suggested after that stream.
Okay.
And, what about if the free-to-play player doesn't have a Borg or Pike?
Then it's Cadet crew, isn't it?
Cadet Uhura. Yeah, it's Cadet Uhura, and Chen.
Cadet Uhura, Talon, and Chen. Is that right?
Cadet Uhura as captain.
One of the
Cadet
whales
Uhura
on my server
as
told
captain.
me to use Cadet Uhura as captain with Cadet McCoy and then Chen.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Yeah.
It depends on how many rounds you go, right?
Yeah, so
Right.
that's one thing we looked at as well, because what we were looking at was, in the first 3 rounds, what does the most damage, and even if you're getting hit with the 3 energy weapons that fire on the first 3 rounds, the 1 kinetic gun that fires in the first would still do more hull damage to you. So that's where we're kind of during the testing, we were kind of swaying towards keeping Talon on more. Because although Chen would play a part, she wouldn't reduce as much damage because that one big gun that Talon can reduce, it's still going to do more. But again, it's all down to the crit chance, and the people kind of falling off in terms of, I'm getting 10k probes in this run, I'm getting 12k probes in this run. Don't go by the probes you get, go by how many kills you get, because the difference in probes you get per kill can change dramatically as you kill higher probes. So you want to go by how many kills you get, and then kind of give yourself an idea on that. It's
really hard to record how many kills you get because you're getting so many per.
Yeah, the ideal best way for that is just to take a look at rather than looking at the battle reports, for example, go to your player profile, make a quick note of how many hostile kills you have, and then just write that down on a piece of paper or a notepad on your phone or whatever.
That's a great idea.
And then just do your kills, and then once you've died, check it and see how much it's went up by. Because you will get, depending on what you're killing, you will probably get more than 30 kills, unless you're killing really, really high probes.
Yeah, I'm getting 40 kills on level 25s.
Yeah, so that's going to happen a lot.
Wait, you're getting 40 kills?
TC,
40?
I'm getting way more than that.
I'm getting like 140.
On 25s.
On 25s?
With
yeah,
my
tier 3,
I
was getting 80 to 90 kills, something like that. Tier 4, I'm getting like 140.
I don't have Pike yet.
That's a tier 4.
Yeah, I don't have Pike. That's one.
Yeah,
of,
I'm
one
using
of 10.
Uhura, Talon, and McCoy on a tier 3.5 or so, and I was able to fully complete the new event without the board captain in one run.
Yeah, I'm getting in excess of 70 using 1 of 10 as captain, Talon and Moreau on level 25 Borg with a tier 3 Vidar with all 3 guns upgraded.
I believe the gun upgrades are not nearly as important like they are on the Franklin because they do so much damage. You're getting through those rounds regardless.
I do think they're actually a bit more. I'll go and check through next time I upgrade a gun, because that bonus
I will say this:
28 times the damage at tier 2. So I think it might be.
I also have shields upgraded on my tier 3.
When I upgraded my impulse drive and my weapons on my tier 5 Vidar, I did not see much of a change at all.
Yeah, I didn't see a huge change there. The one that I did notice on tier 3 and 4 was the impulse engine. That made a big difference in the actual, like, how much damage I could take. The guns were irrelevant. I was killing them in the same number of rounds regardless.
Guys, can I start to move this conversation now on to the new content in terms of the missions?
Yep.
We've seen a bunch of new missions. I haven't been able to access them yet because I haven't completed the Borg Onslaught.
I just got mine, Morgan.
So how are we doing?
We'll get today.
Your first set of missions should be able to be done today.
I'm on the 5th one now, I think.
That's when you've completed.
Yeah, as long as you have enough of the transwarp cells.
Okay.
You got to make sure you need at least
I started
4
today with 9
transwarp cells.
Okay.
Wow. Okay. That's important.
That's the
so
standard transwarp cells, yes.
To do the missions?
Because it takes you to multiple Borg systems. Whereas in Arc 2, you could leave a ship in the Borg system and it repeatedly took you to the same Borg system. This one is taking you to multiple Borg systems.
Okay.
That's frustrating.
It's not always the same one.
Wow.
All right, so
Throttle us with
Can we-
access, but make us hit 4?
Yes.
Huh. Okay.
It's only 2 days.
I'm sitting on 8 pretty much every day now.
Yeah.
Oh, this
Had
is
I
where you
known
fight
that,
the
I
Borg
would-
cube, right?
Had I known going into the missions that I would need that, I assumed I would have needed at least 2, so I had 3. I wouldn't have used 3 other ones that I had today for the probe hunt for the Alliance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the kind of thing that would be nice to know. You know, we had faction hunt today, and we had the one to get the keys, and then Gonzalez. You could have saved Gonzalez until you actually had the mission, and were in them and
Right.
killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But
Yeah.
yet again, we as the community have to find these things out and educate each other. Not Scopely.
That particular one, I don't mind. I mean, that's sort of a spoiler for the missions, though. Them telling us that we're going to need to visit
Because
different Borg systems.
now I got to wait till tomorrow to finish out the missions.
Yeah, it's just
when
a
I get
mission
my
in
new-
that case. Like, I don't know. I'm okay with
Yeah,
that one.
it's just I'm okay with it, but it's frustrating. That if I had better planning, I wouldn't have done it. But when you combine an Alliance mission where my Alliance is in second place and we need to contribute to try and fight for first, I'm going to use up those transwarp cells.
I mean, isn't that more important than getting a mission done a day earlier then?
Right. That's what I'm saying. You know, but at least if I had a little warning that, hey, you're going to need multiple transwarp cells, I would have better managed it for myself and for my Alliance. I would have let my Alliance mates know, hey guys, don't trash all your transwarp cells waiting on this for the event, because you're gonna need half of them for the mission.
Yep. So it's going to take one person to educate everyone else about this.
So, guys, we're going to move this on now from whether you should use your transwarp cells to complete these missions or not, or focus on your Alliance, to the new Latinum transwarp cells, the ones you get the epics, the rares, and the
Obtain.
ones you
Yeah.
don't comment, right?
Yeah, thanks.
The ones that never
Yeah.
appear.
Now, have any of you guys
Yeah.
got these?
No,
I had
I've
alliance mates who have.
Yeah,
They're
me
they're
too.
in the ones
I
the ones that
have yet to see the ship.
Same.
the ones that they found them in were Borg level systems 31 and 33.
Okay. Well, I can confirm that I've found them in a lower level system. I have a
My
wee
Alliance
clip
mate as
somewhere.
well.
Yeah,
I
some of them
managed
got,
to
like,
obtain
extra
the what do you call them, the wee buggy by the ancient antique Latinum. Is
Yeah.
that what you call it?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
So I refined that, and I was lucky enough to get 3 of those uncommon transwarp cells. I'm going to try and find them
Nice.
in my
Wow.
inventory here while I'm talking to you. There's that
One
many
of my
little
crew-
items now in this game. It'd be nice to be able to use them for something. There they are, uncommon
Good.
Latinum cell. I have 2 left.
Yeah.
So as we're talking here, I'm gonna send the ship down and do that while we chat. But I can confirm what comes out of it. I'll hopefully be able to show a little bit of that as we talk in terms of gameplay. But you get down to this system and you encounter more Ferengi traders, but they're carrying nice amounts of Latinum. In the lower level system, you're talking about like 1,000 raw Latinum per kill, and you can get no reason why you couldn't come home with a haul of 20,000-30,000 raw Latinum for refining, maybe more. And if you have
How
the
big are
little
those ships?
if you have the little mining ship, the little Ferengi Devourer, the mining rates on the Latinum mines in these systems are huge. I think Phil was getting 15,000 per hour.
Wow.
So this has brought the acquiring Latinum acquisition really into play if you manage to nail one of these little Ferengi traders while you're out doing your Borg probe killing.
Do you know how strong those Ferengi ships are that are floating around?
I flash up a wee bit of footage. I had it on my phone. If you give me a second, I might be able to check it out. But you're killable. I have a tier 3 Vidar, and I killed a number of them easily.
How strong were they? It was...
Right, so the assimilated, I'll flash this up on the screen. The assimilated Ferengi trader.
Oh no, they are. They're Borg strong.
I got that in. Yeah, they're strong, right? So that's. I killed a level 30 system, Rhoda Gamma, I think it was it? So that's one. Let me see. Yeah, assimilated Ferengi miners, level 25, Uria 3, and they were at 1.5 million-ish with 1100 raw latinum. And I was killing them with a tier 3 Vidar.
Does the Vidar's specialty help with? Is that why you're able to get it?
Yeah.
So killing those
I
with
think
the
that's what it
Vidar.
is.
Yeah. So the Horizon might
You'll
not
need
work.
you'll need a Vidar to take them out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, looks like it. The level 28s have 5,500 latinum in them.
Well, it was easy enough for me to farm on the tier 3 Vidar. It was easy enough for me to farm them in that system and come home with a nice 20,000-30,000 raw latinum if I want it, and I have 3 runs at it. So I'm going to send one of them down now. What do you want to suggest something for me while I'm doing this? Any of you want to put in a request? Will I send a warship down and try it? Will I send a Centurion down? Will I send a battleship?
I like the idea of a Horizon.
A Horizon?
Yeah.
Or a
Horizon
miner,
will be
a big miner.
I don't think it's going to go very well.
They're going to get
It's
one
not
shot.
No, I don't think it's going to
They
go
have
either.
2 million HP.
Oof.
Well, 1.5 those I was killing.
But the Vidar is doing 28,000% damage.
Yeah.
You've got 2 million per hit per weapon, and then your third one's hitting.
So
for
will I go
7
back
million.
down with my Vidar and say stun on the bridge?
Yeah,
Ooh,
that could be good. Yeah.
why not? Yeah.
Try that.
Do you have Pike?
Pike, stun, and Talan? No, because
Pike
it's
is
a
only
minor,
useful
it's a
because of
mining
Moreau.
ship. Moreau, Pike, Moreau, and stun. What about
probably
one
okay,
of
yeah.
10? No.
1 of 10 Moreau stun is probably going to be. That's going to be. I don't know, because of the
You're
weird
probably
shield thing.
with-
That could be.
You're probably better with 1 of 10 in Chen rather than.
This is
Right,
against a
yeah.
mining ship, remember?
Yeah, so 1 of 10 in Chen.
Do you remember the firing pattern?
I don't, I'm sorry.
Because if it's like the Devore, then you probably might end up chewing through them pretty quickly, actually, because Devore only shoots every other round.
Okay, give me a second. There's no hope
So,
that these are in my
Right now, I
inbox.
just send the Vidar, let's get a log, and then see what else. Go from there.
With stun.
What's the exact name of all the ships in there? Elcars may have the info on them.
Assimilated Ferengi minor. Level 25.
Miner or trader?
Minor.
Cool.
Okay, so it's on its way there anyway, lads, right? 6 minutes. So while it's on its way, we'll talk about the acquisition. This is a new form of currency now. That's we've got these this antique latinum. We refine that. We've got the Ferengi traders, but we've also got new officers. I'm going to take a little look at them. What's our take? What's everybody feeling about these officers? Anybody have any of them yet?
New mining officer.
I have 9. 9 of 10.
You have 9 of 10.
I have 9 of 10. Yep. I ran runs with her, 1 of 10, and Chen, and had significantly diminished returns.
On
What's the
Borg
bonus
probes.
synergy?
If you have 1 of 10 as captain and 9 on bridge, you get 1%. If you flip it, you get 5%. But I lost 5 kills by putting 9 of 10 as captain.
Right.
I agree. I have 9 of 10 as well, and I don't have 1 of 10 because I wasn't playing the game at that time, and it's just it sucks.
Right.
Trying to use her as a captain.
Well, bear in mind, guys, that there's 2 things here. She is an uncommon officer, and the easiest to obtain by the looks of things, because I'm close to getting her. Another 6 shards, and bear in mind that some of these officers don't really show their potential until they're a higher level.
They're max.
You know.
Now, now 7 of 10 looks pretty awesome. The chance to fire your weapon for a second.
8 of 10.
Time. I believe it's 7 of 10.
7 of 10, the rare one. DC is Spork.
Yes. Yes.
I'm closest to her as well. I might be able to finish her if I do my faction hunt events.
But 7 of 10, it's when fighting a Borg tactical probe, 7 of 10 has a 20% chance of increasing the number of shots of each weapon.
Yeah,
by
that's
2.
quite nice, yeah. And officer health.
Yeah, so the way these officers are kitted out, I think it's going to be more or less the case of once you've got at least 2 of them, or the uncommon one and the rare one, then you can start to kind of mess around because something 8 of 10. Yeah, she doesn't seem to do too great on her own, or even just with 1 of 10. Although
But
this
the bonus
together, you're losing out on other.
The bonus to 8 of 10, though, I think somebody was testing it today that they said she can be anywhere on the ship. I still have to test that.
As in below decks?
Yeah, her 45%
Yeah.
bonus is that's what officer belt is. Yeah, so you can be on the bridge. Do you mean like even the lower deck, or just the bridge?
No, I thought that meant she affected the lower deck, not that she can be
Yeah.
on the
Oh,
lower
right,
deck.
okay,
Because
yeah.
officer abilities don't trigger unless you're on the
Typically,
bridge.
they
Of
don't.
every
I
officer
don't-
on the ship. Yeah, 8 of 10 increases
Yeah.
the attack of every officer on the ship.
So
By
she'll
45%.
Because somebody
the below
did a
deck.
video on crew that showed certain crew members' officer abilities trigger when they're below deck.
Oh.
What?
Who done
I
that?
don't know if that's been fixed or changed.
Who done that,
But
Jansen?
I
Can
do
you find that for us?
Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. And if you do find it, post it in the comments below this video for people to check it out.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that on 8 of 10 is just poor wording again. There's some very oddly worded.
Yeah.
I do
Non-native
dislike that
speaking
it's
English.
right. I do dislike that it is Borg focused and not more general.
True.
Like, look at 9 of 10's captain maneuver. It's just written in the weirdest way possible.
And DJ actually brought that up with Gala yesterday
Mm.
and pointed it out to her. And he asked her point blank, was English their native language? And she said no.
Hmm.
Why did they have these people writing very important tooltips like? And why is there no QC on that?
Those
Your
are very
guess is as good
logical
as mine.
questions.
And Gala didn't have the answer
Yeah.
to that.
Yeah.
Of course.
Like, even if it
Well, I
was
mean-
a simple human error, maybe somebody's just, their head's not in the game at that particular time and they do write it grammatically wrong or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to get hung up on it as long as they bloody fix it.
I'm actually eager to see how the synergy between the Borg officers works and how we're able to fully utilize their abilities throughout all of the things we do with our ships.
We haven't mentioned we haven't mentioned 10 of 10 the Tribble. Like
I was
that
just about to
that
say
looks like an amazing officer.
He looks
Yeah.
awesome.
I
It's
want
an
him
amazing
to-
mining
TC is a
officer.
little infatuated with 10 of 10, by
A
the way.
little, a lot. She wants him so bad. Like I might drop
Didn't you
money
read
for
the
that.
description for 10 of 10?
Hmm?
Seriously, you need to read the description. It's great.
Description's amazing.
Right, so you guys that see all you guys that are into canon, or any of you like you'd be a wee bit into canon there, Jansen, and maybe yourself, Spork. I don't know. But what do we think of the idea that they're making a Borg Tribble and that Jayla, even though Jayla was part of the Kelvin timeline, it was recognized as an authentic timeline in the Star Trek canon, all of that, and they've gone and they've turned her into like they're basically saying that people from the Star Trek universe are now being assimilated by the Borg. Like,
I mean, you can tell they're straying a bit off from the actual Kelvin timeline, because where in the Kelvin timeline is there Borg other than the Narada and the Narada tech that was installed onto the new ships like the Enterprise?
Yeah, there's several examples.
Where did you
of
see
that
an
where it's not
actual
right.
Borg?
yeah.
I mean, the Narada went back in the past, and it's made utilizing Borg technology. So one could say that may have triggered a Borg signal. I mean, if you
Like
want
how
to
the
go
Borg
and
were trying to do in First Contact on the Enterprise
right,
D,
and I do think that Jayla's going to get liberated, which is why she's getting released in April. Because in their Q&A, they did say that Jayla is serving as the Borg Queen in this game.
Oh.
What?
Which also begs the question, if they're getting into the territory of liberated Borg and all of that, are we with Picard
I haven't seen the last episode.
stuff?
Hey,
Neither have
Picard's
I.
free now.
I know.
No, but without genuinely, without ruining anything, like the Borg, liberated Borg are a part of it. It's part of the theme of what we're seeing in that. Is this? There's been speculation before that this could start going down the road of Discovery and Picard and all. Do you think that this is an indicator?
That'd be interesting to see.
I will
We're in
say
the
this.
Universe. We can do whatever we want.
I have.
You know.
Well, I can almost guarantee you that Scopely is not creating this content exclusively. I bet you anything CBS has very strict reins on what they can and cannot do and what they're developing as a storyline.
Can we make a Tribble Borg? Sure, go for it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I do believe that this game they're trying to build into something along the lines of what CBS is doing and the content they're making. I just haven't really been able to make that connection with what they're doing.
I think one way to look at it is just like we have the Kelvin universe, we have the Fleet Command universe. So this is a third timeline, so things can be a little fun.
Yeah, you were going to say Spork before Jansen kind of spoiled it there on you or whatever. You were going to say that it's their playground basically. It's their universe. They can do what they want.
Yeah, it's a game. We got some artistic license, and I mean, worst case, you just say this is a third timeline. Just hand wave it.
And we have touched on the idea that if they go down the road of the DJ Aoki, then they can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, into Scopely's defense and CBS, they have held interviews where Scopely wants to do every generation of Star Trek and include it into this game. CBS is not allowing that to happen right now.
I mean, do remember they already have a Valdor in here, which, if you know your Star Trek movies, then you know that was during the Enterprise E time when the Valdor was first introduced.
Right. Some of the history of these ships, like the Legionary, I'm like, yeah, that ship doesn't actually exist.
It's a redesign of the Romulan warbird from Next Generation. Same with Augur and
It's
Tribune.
like 100 years before it, though.
Yeah, I know that's where the problems are. But I mean, it can actually, if we knew more about Romulan ships, honestly, that could be a ship because you can see the Romulans slowly building up to their design that they eventually get as a main fleet ship.
Okay, guys, we've kind of gone off a topic a little bit there with that. I want to give a final mention here to Jayla's abilities. What do we think of that? First one being she increases the shield deflection, armor, and dodge by 200% of the total health of all officers on the ship.
So again, it's like Kang, etc. You know, you're gonna have to have her set level 3 at the very least to kind of see even see any kind of improvement there.
And what about the resource farming ability then as well? You know, throw in opinions on that as well.
Honestly, if you have Pike, that's not really useful. That resource farming ability, I don't see that being useful because most of the time you're going and still getting full cargo regardless. So what's that 20% actually going to do?
I see that 20% being.
For Franklin, it'd be good because I'm only getting full cargo on Franklin now that it's
no. Do remember it's resources and not including.
Yeah, it's loot. So I mean that is extra loot. So when you kill a hostile, you get loot. So you're getting 20% extra. Or am I reading that wrong?
All right, hang on.
Well, it depends on what they mean.
So I would say loot, as in if I kill a hostile and I get 100 steel, I'm gonna get 120 steel.
Yeah. Officer ability 5 out of 10 increases the resources dropped by
on the blog,
from hostiles
it says
by 20%.
And would Borg inactive nanoprobes, those things that you farm from the Borg, or the modulators that you farm from the Swarm, would they be regarded as resources dropped from hostiles?
Yes. Look, I just put it in Discord. If you look at the patch notes and the blog that describes them, those were written by a native English speaker, and they say loot with a capital L hilariously. As we just discovered, the in-game tooltips were not written by a native English speaker, so that may not be accurate. And as we all know, the big gun on the Saladin is not energy, so, you know, tooltips lie.
Lots of visual bugs everywhere.
Yeah, so in that sense, it would be ideal on the Franklin because Franklin and the Vidar against probes, because you can still have Pike Moreau as your main two crew, and because that's her officer ability, she doesn't have to be as capped all that ability to work, so she can be a third, officer, the bridge. But yeah, as Heck said, what you need to kind of do a test on is how much loot you get with her, giving you the extra 20%, and does that weigh out having Chen or Talon on, which would get you more kills, which would also get you more loot. So you'd have to kind of test that and kind of see what the results are.
2 runs would do that, wouldn't it?
I would probably do 4 for safe measure. Because with probes, I would settle do 4 because of the loot difference on the hostiles.
Well, in fairness, if you done 2 runs to start with, if there was a massive difference, you wouldn't be doing 4.
Yeah. It's actually a little bit calculable, whatever the word is.
Calculable, I think that's it.
You're getting 20% extra loot. That's effectively 20% more hull if you're dying before you fill your cargo. So just look at how much mitigation you're getting from Chen or Talon, and then if it's greater than an extra 20%, it's going to be better. Once you get up to like 60 or 80% on this Jayla, there's no way that you can get more mitigation than that could give. You'd have to be getting nearly twice as many kills.
But I mean, then again, what's the point of me going out and farming for resources here? I mean, I'm going to be honest. 100,000 tritanium, I'm not making that up on a Centurion repair by filling my cargo.
I think the whole point of this, the ability, is for Franklin Swarms for modulators and Borg probes for the nanoprobes.
Exactly,
I believe it's actually for killing a level 37 trader and farming them. I don't think it's actually for that.
Maybe, I'll just pop back out, maybe for Latinum down in these other systems. 20% more from That would be an extra 200 raw latinum per
Yeah.
kill.
We'd have
And
to
that's on
test
the
this
and that's on
out
the basic
and-
ones, you know.
Oh, it says loot from hostiles, so that technical loot from hostile. Although it's a special
Right.
hostile, it's still a hostile nonetheless.
No, never mind. I was gonna say scouts would be a good point, but that's from a loot box, not from the actual host.
Yeah.
Did somebody want a battle log on this Vidar? On these traders?
Yeah, please post those.
Yeah. That way we can see their firing pattern.
Well, I'll just run through it at the minute because I'm recording at the minute, so I won't be able to post anything just for time being, if you don't mind. But I will go through it. It's 2 rounds. Moreau and Pike activating, mitigating just over 1500 from the. This is an assimilated Devore. Deals massive damage, 3.6 million. Shield depleted. Charges weapons 33.33334%. Vidar charges to full. Devore deals 12,500. Mitigates 7-8. Receives 930. It received 182 on that first one. Charges weapons 100%.
Right.
Deals a massive hit, 1.7 million, and the Devore is destroyed.
Wow.
Okay.
Can you also grab a scan?
But
while
I'm
you're
killing
in
level
there? Can you-
25s pretty easy here. I'm down. I've killed 3 here, down a fraction of my hull.
All right.
Four kills, and I'm on nearly 5,000 raw latinum.
What's your actual hull damage per battle?
Well, I'll go into one of these others, and I'll just a lot of crates dropping with these. 3 out of 4 dropped the crate there, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's it.
Actual hull damage
Well,
received
exactly.
190. 1525, 344. Little over 2,000 total.
Hmm.
Alrighty. So, very cheap. Now, do we know what type of weapons? I'm assuming energy with
And
that little
84k
amount of
total
damage
hull
involved.
on that.
There's no real way to tell if it's kinetic or energy without looking at like raw data from the game.
Well, I mean, if we go in and get a really long battle and see how many times we're shot, we can determine as well. But then again, energy. Sometimes energy weapons like Mayflower don't shoot every round.
Yeah.
So,
And if
Just
you go
think away
into
from it.
the if you go into the information when you scan the ship and you scroll down to the bottom of its information, it has ship _ description _ 63. So they didn't finish that when they released it.
No.
But anyway, there's a little bit of testing as we do this, guys. I can do this all evening. It looks like I'm gonna get what am I at there? 90% of the hull, probably 6 kills. It's 10%. I'll get 60 kills out of this, perhaps.
so enough for
At a
What
thousand.
the crit chance like?
Tell you what to do, Flando. I'll go.
Go live.
Aye, well, I should have went live earlier, maybe.
I mean, someone who
Now,
does a lot
criticals
of-
from me or
all things
to
like
on me?
that. To you, from them.
From
I
them.
want to see if they're similar to the Borg Arc.
Okay, critical of 22,619.
No, not the damage. No, go into the ship info. See its actual crit chance and its critical damage percentage increased.
Critical chance is 30%. Critical damage is 200%.
That's more than the probes.
Wow.
Probes are 30%.
25%. 25% with 187.5 damage.
Yeah, so you can review this video anyway, Flando, and check out what I'm looking at on the screen yourself. There's definitely there's 2 small guns fired there on that, but then if it's 200% damage, that might explain two criticals. There's 2 small hits on that, so it's like dealing 4361 damage as a critical, then 12,000 non-critical, and then 4,934 as a critical.
Fartasia just replied to me they do not have data on the assimilated ships quite yet.
Alrighty.
Okay, so that's enough of them logs that I'm gonna show in the footage here. Flando, you can review that. That's the first couple of kills. So I've been recording for a bit longer than I'd expected here, guys, but there's plenty to get into. Is there anything I've missed on the new officers before we give a mention to the new avatars and stuff like that? Anything anybody want to say on any of that stuff? The missions, the new currencies. Tribbles?
Tribbles. Yay. Sorry.
Okay, anybody into these avatars and these frames? There is a tribble avatar.
I do like.
I can care less about them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not gonna lie,
the
I'll probably use
avatars,
the triple
they're just-
avatar.
Wait, there's a tribble avatar?
There is.
Yep.
There's a naked and a Borg triple. Just saying.
Oh, I will absolutely be using that.
Alright. Regular triple, yeah, that's probably the one thing I care about in there. Borg frame, I did look at that. That looked a bit nice. It was nice. I mean,
It's different.
honestly,
Yeah.
if they want to do avatars, don't just copy and paste officers.
I
It's-
know, right?
it's
Fucking
yeah.
hell.
Cool idea with a lot of potential, but
That's the inherent
Just
problem
copying-
with how they're doing these avatars is everyone wants one different from everyone else, and that's not what
Yeah.
these are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go on to Fiverr and get some guy to go and design a bunch of them and pay him peanuts there for designing a bunch of avatars and then sell them to us for $1.99 if we like them and give us loads of them.
Yeah, exactly.
like I'd like to see a cool picture of like an Enterprise that looks like it's warping out of the avatar itself. Do you get what I mean?
There's so much
Yeah, well, you have to
opportunity
design that
there.
one yourself, but maybe uploading your own avatar, why not?
Yeah, that'd be
Well,
cool.
Don't let
Yeah,
people upload
I don't know
their
about
avatar.
that.
No.
Yeah. That,
I mean, think about all
yeah,
the
you'll
things
get some
that
real
get
things.
put there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be customization allowed on each avatar so that at least people can try to make it their own. These are just so basic.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're
do want
right.
it.
Like, there's so much opportunity for them to make dozens and dozens and dozens and make them exclusive and sell some for money. You know, they could put up a $50 one that like looks super rad, but it's super rare. and you
Yeah, like a Borg
can
Queen.
move around
Proper
your-
Borg
Yeah,
Queen.
exactly.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think the one thing they're forgetting about is, you know, when it comes to PC games like World of Warcraft, how much money, I mean, Star Trek Online, how much money people pour into just customize their character.
Anyway, guys, right, that's enough of the avatars and stuff like that there. We've seen changes in the Alliance and how we can identify other players and stuff like that.
Yes.
Some players you can just put a target on their back, but then you go into Borg space maybe and not you mightn't be allowed to hit somebody. I'd be dead by now down here farming these because Iron Monkey's out farming and he wouldn't let my ship live. Have you seen it? And
Let me just say that on server 15, my alliance, if you are OP in Borg space, you will be hit.
oh,
Yeah, we have a
Does not
rule
matter
about no
if you have
hitting
the little
at
target
all.
symbol on you or not. OP is OP.
okay, okay.
Ruthless.
What server's
And
that?
our
Just a little.
15.
It's not a bad compromise, though, between the people that want to hit in these places and the people that want to be able to do stuff in them.
Well, I mean, there's not much to do in them anyways, so
Right.
it's just
I mean,
you can go
and
to this
same with
system
swarm
and-
space. If you're over,
We
Farming
kind of
for
figured
swarm
that.
It's different though.
Yeah, we kind of figured that. You're limited enough in how you can get into these systems, so
Yeah.
we're not going to fuck it up for each other, if we can help it, and let people go into these systems and utilize that one token that they've just cashed in to maximum effect. I think that's fair.
That's how 26 is. Yeah.
for
Yeah,
the
we're the
most
same.
part, I think it's limited. Most of my guys are limiting it to the level 29 system. My radar is not big enough to. I haven't seen it in the level in anything other than the 29s. You know,
Yeah.
and my radar isn't big enough to take on anybody more than once in the level 25 system.
But in terms of the actual icons itself, it's nice to kind of know who your allies are without having to scan each ship and look at each tag. It's good to see from a distance, and you know, when you do end up going into a war with the alliance, which everyone will do at some point, you can then select that alliance to target them. It's much easier to kind of find where they're hiding as well. So I think it's a good aspect. It's a good step. It's a good sort of first step towards
Agreed.
a bit more we've just given more for alliance things in terms of especially admirals. I like the fact that admirals and commodores can do it and not just admiral. It kind of gives a bit more power to, and it gives a bit more reason for having ranks, because premiers, operatives, you don't really have anything extra to do in that rank. It's all kind of a player made up, I guess, depending on the alliance. But you're actually given a reason to be at the higher rank because you can now do this within the alliance. So I hope they add more to that. But it's a good first step.
Just to let you know, guys, Iron Monkey's using 1 of 10 as captain with Chen and Talan.
Ah, silly boy. Silly boy.
Send in the Centurion just to mess with him.
You can use it. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Inesias.
Hello.
Hey, Nathan.
You can use 7 of 10 as well. With 1 of 10 as captain and Telon.
I don't think most of us have 7 of 10 yet.
Have you got 7 of 10, Inesias?
I do.
What's the verdict?
Very nice. I also tried it on PvP. I guess against a boss, mission boss. And it did more or less the same result as Zoo with Kirk, Spock, and Zoo. Instead of Zoo, I used 7 of 10, and the result was more or less the same. But he's on first tier, so I would say that as soon as you upgrade it to second tier, it will be best than Zoo. So I think it's a very nice officer.
What do you think of the alliance changes, being able to target different alliances just by the wee target or not?
What do you mean, target different alliances?
The symbols for allies or targets.
Oh, I think it's perfect. I find the purple heart very cute. It avoids a lot of mistakes regarding alliances, so the admirals have less things to take care because people sometimes knock or get a minor.
I don't think I've seen a purple heart in this yet.
Honest
Honest to God, and I don't think I will.
Any allies.
My admiral picked one fleet and marked a fleet as a heart, as a friendly, and then as a hostile, so we could all see it. And
Right.
it told us what it would mean when we saw it for real.
And we said
Purple
for
good,
real,
red
it's
bad.
perfect.
Yeah.
We
Well-
actually use it a lot because we're allied with a family of allies, and there's so many different tags. It's so hard for us to remember that it's really helped us a lot.
It is. It is.
I like
Yeah.
that they've got 3. So you've got, in terms of, I don't know how other alliances or servers work it, but you've got the enemy, which is let's say you're at war, you've got friendly. For example, if you've got, let's say, a NAP in place where you just don't hit each other's ships, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And then you've got allied, which is kind of says it as it is. You're allied with that alliance in full. So I like that they've got kind of one for each kind of level of relationship, so to speak.
So, Flando, you as an admiral, can you now send a message to everyone?
Nope.
Oh,
Not yet.
I thought that was okay.
Yeah, so
Not
have
seen
you
it.
been
I've
down
not
to any
seen
of
it.
these systems with for simulated Ferengi Devores, Inesias?
Yes, I've killed 2 already.
Where have you been? No, not the traders now. I mean the system. Have you been able to refine those little tokens to access the locked systems? So you get when you refine the antique latinum, you get you have a chance of getting epic, rare, or uncommon transwarp cells.
I
Depends
think
on
I
the
got
trade, Vidar.
I got a normal transwarp cell.
All right, okay. So you haven't been down to one of these systems yet.
No.
Okay, so just supposed to bring you up to speed, I was telling the rest of the guys, I'm down in one of these systems now farming assimilated Ferengi miners, okay? And they're dropping, this is in the level 25 system, so you with a higher Vidar will probably be getting the epic or the rare at least. Phil was doing it and he was getting, he was able to see mines, latinum mines inside the epic system that were something like 15,000 latinum per hour. Okay,
was that
and
with the Devore?
it's a simulated Ferengi Devore, and that's with his Devore. He was seeing that on the latinum mines. I'm seeing assimilated Ferengi miners, the lowest level ones that are giving me between 1100 and 1300 raw latinum per kill. And so far, I'm down to about a quarter health on my Vidar with stun on the bridge, and I'm up to 50,000 raw latinum in the space of 15 minutes, and that's casually killing while we talk.
Oh, that's very nice.
So
I haven't done that part because I haven't got any of those special.
no, unfortunately, I
things.
can't show off my Devore because I don't have one. And what is
You're
like
not missing much. It's all right. It's fine. You're not missing much at all.
Oh, you know what I got? A Vortivore.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I got to 50 million rep in ROM, so I
Very good.
got one. I'm mining with it, but it's really.
How expensive is the repair bill?
I haven't. Well, I actually repair it because a player just decided to kill me to see how it was, but I didn't pay attention, to tell you the truth.
Can you go wreck it again?
The repair cost? How?
Can you send me a couple of screenshots and easiest to put in the footage?
Yeah.
Great.
Of me being killed?
Yeah, if you like. I'd rather see a screenshot of the ship and your crew and where you're mining and the mining rates or whatever, you know.
Okay. Give me a sec. So...
whatever it is you think is most impressive about your shiny new ship. Send us a couple
to
of...
tell you the truth, it's very expensive. It's very much like I have a maxed Valkys, so it's more or less the same per hour. I do 28k with the Vortivore. But I think the most impressive thing is the warp, which is 95, which means that when you are in dark space, you can actually have an extra ship without Scotty that can mine further away. So I think that's the best thing about the Vortivore. The thing is about the Vortivore, it's very expensive to upgrade it. They ask for parts, survey parts, and the refinery is it's for a laugh because it doesn't give you near what you need to upgrade even one component. So I think my Vortivore will stay at G4 or G3 for some time.
Okay.
but I can send you a screenshot.
Is it? Are you happy though? Was it worth it?
Well, I don't think so now, unless you upgrade it. I think on a mining event in dark space it will be, but right now because we don't have a mining event.
And one last question for you before I let. I think it was Heck would come in there. Do you remember getting your first faction miner?
You mean
your Valkus or Cavort?
Yeah, I remember Cavort.
It was your Cavort. Do you remember?
Yes.
Do you remember how excited you were getting that?
Yes.
Right. Does this compare?
I wasn't very excited getting the Cavort because I couldn't upgrade it at the time. But I'm more excited about this one because of the warp and because I had to mine like a madwoman. I have to grind like a madwoman to get it. But
I mean,
unless you upgrade it like to T5, it's not. You know, it takes a while to be impressed by it.
Okay. What are you finding hardest to come by?
What you mean?
What's
the parts?
The parts.
The parts, yeah, because you can grind them and you can refine it, but to grind them you will have, you know, it's my jelly only kills 11 55 level hostiles per kill, so it takes a while to get blueprints or
how about you just
or
is there something a bit lower that you could kill that would give you more parts overall per run? Like no level 45 traders or something like that?
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't have the same drop.
Like, but would you be able to kill more that would eventually make it to where if you did an entire run, you would get more broken 4-star G4 survey parts instead of just killing the 11 traders in Soul?
I haven't tried, to tell you the truth.
Okay, well, there's something maybe to test out at some stage, if you don't mind, and check it out. There's one final thing I wanna start get into because we've been at this quite a while. Flando, you mentioned in a previous video about something to do like a glitch, and if you don't mind, I'll flash up your bit of footage that you shared from BlueStacks. It's not what I was hoping it would be. It's not a sphere of influence for an Alliance Admiral then, no?
No, I literally have no idea what it is. I think it's just a visual bug, but yeah, I've had that for like 2 months. It comes and goes. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not there. I can get it on my phone, so it's not a BlueStacks thing. I don't know why it comes up. I really don't. But it's not exactly a small thing, as you can see in the video. You know, it's rather big. It's a big blue bubble, covers fed space and a little bit of neutral space. But yeah, I have no idea what it's all about.
It's an interesting one, alright. I was really hoping that it was going to be an indicator of something that they might be playing around with, but I suppose let's put out the call to other people if they're watching, or if they don't mind asking around and sharing that wee bit of a clip and seeing if anybody else is experiencing something similar. It's certainly if Scopely are watching, to take heed. Have you reported it? Like, have you put it into the bugs channel or anything? Or
no, that's my next thing to do. I'll probably should that.
Right, well, thank you for capturing it. Guys, before we wrap up, is there anything really in your heart burning about this new content that you'd like to say? Inesias, you came in late, so you might have something, but is there anything that we haven't kind of got into there in terms of what people feel or their impressions on it so far?
I would like to see the epic officers in the transport, so we could use our transport to buy.
Fair point. Transporter patterns, yep.
Yeah, the epic that are going to come, like Jayla. And well, and regarding the Borg, well, I don't know what's happening, but the game was never so buggy. So
Yeah, we mentioned a lot of the bugs at the start. All right, we had a bit of a laugh about that. But
yeah,
fair point about the
imagine.
transport
I-
patterns, though.
I don't really have anything else to say. I'm just gonna throw a little smartass remark in there and say I would rather have the old bugs back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Death, are you still with us?
Yep, I'm still
Yeah.
here. I'm actually raiding a base, so I was
Right.
a little concentrating on that.
Any final thoughts or final comments for wrap up?
No, I think we pretty much hit on everything so far. Like I said earlier, it's all good on my end.
Well, I'm waiting for the cube. I think that will be the next big thing.
Okay, well, before I finish up, can I ask then? I'll come to TC and Spork and Flando and that in a wee second. Did anybody discover where the Klingon missions were? These 7 Klingon missions or something they said there was going to be.
Oh, I haven't
I
looked
have
for
yet to
those
see
yet.
them.
What Klingon missions, Amorgin?
Okay, so let me go into
Well-
the view screen here in the middle of the.
Yeah, it was in the patch
Okay,
notes
so
there.
Borg,
There was
the
29
Onslaught brings you
regular.
36 new missions. 29 main missions that tell the story of the Borg's invasion of our galaxy and the desperate defense mounted by its inhabitants. 7 side missions that explore the rite of ascension to the Klingon High Council and how one family must deal with the effects of assimilation.
Okay.
I think we will get those missions through this Borg event. Because it's talking about assimilation, and there's
So the
2
only
different
way
mission chains.
the only way to access the missions right now then is if you've bought it or you've managed to grind it.
That
to get
is
the first
my guess for the mission.
160. Right, so
Yeah,
for the
with the
Klingon
current
missions.
events, with the current events, you should have, if you've done both the Days of Faction Hunt, you should be able to do
So one of the things I was
missions.
struggling with, guys, and maybe before we wrap up, you can help me with this. One of the things I was struggling with was this idea that down in Tijat, there was I was seeing Borg cubes appearing, right?
Yeah, that was there was 3 missions there that got left in.
Yes.
That
yes.
were developer missions. They were never meant
test
for us to be
missions.
seen.
Yes.
Okay, why was I seeing that?
We were all
Probably-
seeing that.
Yeah,
We
Scopely
also-
said they left them
I
in so
never
that we
looked
could have a
into
little
that.
fun.
Is that what
I
it was,
said.
do you
So
think?
That's how they're spinning it.
Right.
Well, that's how they're
as
spinning it.
intended.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Maybe they were throwing a little bait our way.
so this
Something upcoming.
this planet Vomal will become a mission planet then, presumably?
I don't know.
Who
Into
knows?
It's a
Jack.
possibility.
It will become like a swarm.
And some people are showing me that they were able to target Borg cubes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's through
Yeah,
the
yeah, we
Tijat
have a-
missions.
That was through those
yeah,
missions.
the missions I got one. I actually recorded it.
Okay. So basically, if you were quick enough, you could have done this. But tough shit
Yeah.
now if you're looking around for it.
Yes.
Correct.
Sound. Right.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
I'm right
and
there
the
with you,
rewards
Morgan.
were one unit of steel.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
missed
was.
out. Damn.
I think that might be programming and it's not complete. I'm hoping, or Scopely's trying to
That's-
pull an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. I'm gonna just wrap up now with Flando. Final thoughts. Final.
Give us non-Borg jailer, and I'll be happy.
Give us non-Borg what?
Jailer.
Jayla, and you'll be happy. Okay. No matter what her abilities are.
No,
We're getting
give me
the
that.
assimilated
Give me a.
word.
I don't want I don't want robotic assimilated jailer. I want human. Well, not human. Flesh jailer.
Right.
Boom
Okay.
The jailer.
The jailer. Okay.
headphones are
TC.
I think for me, I'm looking forward to see what they bring with the content. I'm hoping to see some new types of events, similar to what we saw with the Crucible of War. And I'm really, really looking forward to what they do with Borg armadas or something like that. Give us more cooperative within our
Borg
alliance
armadas.
play.
It will be with
Yeah.
the cube. When the
Yeah.
cube arrives,
Yeah.
it will be everyone against the cube.
Now, this is a thing,
Can't wait.
we did talk about this way back, Inesias.
Yeah.
You know, back at a time when we were throwing around ideas and it just felt like Scopely were taking every idea that we were talking about and considering it at least. And certainly if you look back to the survey videos we would have done with Thaler around the surveys they put out and different things like naming ships, for example. Jansen mentioned it earlier, and I want to get his final thoughts if he's still with us. This idea that stuff that they have asked in the survey, stuff that we have talked about and we have covered, is actually maybe coming into the game now. Can we be confident enough that what we have been calling for has been listened and it's actually going to happen?
Partly, yeah, partly.
Well, I think that.
I mean, do remember that it isn't just us. The what's it called?
Of course, no, the entire community is calling for it. And I suppose that's what I mean by extension. You know, like, we have people here from a variety of different servers. We always try to have a variety of different servers. That is a microcosm of what's out there, generally. We're either reflecting stuff that people, opinions that people have shared with us, or we're reflecting opinions that we have shared with others. There are no secrets here. There might be a few unique and individual ideas, but there are no secrets here, and many people have had similar ideas. But we have been calling for this, and we've been representing what we believe people want, and that one of those things was a fucking Borg cube where all alliances could weigh in and tackle into it and get massive bloody rewards. Where you put aside your petty differences for this half an hour. Lads, we've spotted a Borg cube. We need everybody on the server, and it doesn't matter if you're rocking a little Tala. Up you rock and you pew pew with that Borg cube. Right? And everybody does it, and the rewards you get, whether it's based on damage dealt or whatever it is, the rewards you get are gonna be really, really worth it. And with maybe the person that gets the kill and blow, whether it is the wee guy in the Tala or whatever, the person that gets the kill and blow gets some bonus. You know, that's the ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yep. That's what we've
So-
discussed on server 15.
And this is what I'm saying. Nobody has a unique idea here. The community is all on the same page when it comes to some of these things. We're asking for something like that, and yet, can we hope they're going to deliver it? Can we truly believe this, or is this going to be like another 15-minute Armadas thing where it's a bit of a damp squib and you're sitting there going, okay, I'll do it?
Oh, but that's the question, isn't it? That is the
We'll
question.
find out.
Yeah,
We
I
don't
mean-
have an answer.
Is it going to be like
But
10 people's allowed to do this, 5 people's allowed to do this? You have to a new thing in your station where you have to upgrade it to be able to do that content.
Yeah,
my
we
You
thoughts
also
are
have to
because-
realize there's limits to the number of people that can be in a system.
Right.
We've seen it with memorials where we've had to have people leave so others can come
Right.
in. So it's going to be interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Absolutely.
That never happened to me.
And what happens in that situation is you get a message saying the system's full.
Yep. And you can't get in.
Yeah, and maybe a
Today on-
queuing system that when you get killed, the next person gets in. Because trust me, if that Borg cube's firing off like it should be, if you're rocking up in your little Tala and you've managed to get in, you're out of there after the first round, like, you know.
People are dying fast.
You know what I'm saying? So you constantly have to be throwing your ships at this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it.
Morgan, I've put the info on Brainbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Spork, any final thoughts for us before I wrap this up?
Digging Borg stuff so far. I hope they keep improving. It does seem like they have listed some of the things we've said, and they are improving. So fingers
Okay.
crossed.
Anything that you feel we've missed? No.
Not that I can think of.
Oh,
at the moment.
can I just say, I mean, I don't think Panic's gonna watch this, but thank you, Panic, for that chest that you gave to the economy that just buffed it and made ratings so much more.
Yeah,
Possible.
I guess.
It's a major possibility.
Yeah, I guess credit where it's due there. I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I think there's always that threshold where your average player, like, maybe, I don't know, maybe this is controversial, like myself or Jansen or whoever that might have a bit of a win sometimes. I'd like to think that if they had been a little bit more caring and rewarding to the community all along, with little surprises like that, some of us mightn't turn into the whingers that we are now, you know. So maybe this is a turn for the future. Maybe this is something we can look forward to, and maybe they finally are going to listen. It took a bit of sacrifice and a bit of